So have you guys ever milked a cow?
I have milked a goat once.
Goat once,
Not a cow.
not a cow. And you've,
I think I've milked a cow.
yeah.
It's been a long time, but I think I have milked.
Have you ever milked a cow?
No, but I've seen them milked
But you've
because
seen
there was a dairy not too far from where I used to live.
Mm-hmm. And where are you from?
I'm from Oxford, England.
Have y'all ever milked a cow?
I have never milked a cow.
Never, ever.
Never.
I have never milked a cow either.
When you were young, did you grow up around a dairy farm or anything like that?
I mean, I grew up in a rural area with cows, but not on a farm.
Okay.
My grandparents had a farm with cows,
Okay.
and I maybe milked them. I don't know. I just put water in the trough. That's all I remember about the farm.
And where y'all from?
I grew up in Illinois.
Illinois?
I grew up in middle of nowhere, Minnesota.
Hi, my name's Elena and this is Kaden, and we're with the Union County Heritage Museum.
And these two interviews were conducted for two different reasons. Number one, June is National Dairy Month, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory on National Dairy Month. Now, originally it was called National Milk Month, and it was established in 1937, and then a couple years later in 39, it became National Dairy Month. Now, dairy is extremely important, not only to the U.S., but to Mississippi as well. According to the Dairy Alliance, Mississippi produced over 9 million gallons of milk in 2023 with about 6,000 cows. Now, secondly, dairy farming is prevalent across the world, and the importance of dairy extends deep into Union County's history. While the prevalence of small dairy farms have decreased in the past several years in Union County, people still recall interacting with dairy farming in their past. When looking at the past, the importance of dairy farming is cemented into Union County.
Around 1900 or shortly after, Dr. Goodman brought the first Jersey cows to New Albany. Jersey cows are one of the oldest breeds of dairy cows in history, known for the richness of their milk. In 1938, Mr. Clarence White, owner of Riverside Grade A Dairy in New Albany, shook hands with Mr. D.S. Wilkins, the president of Northeast Electric Power Association, to confirm a deal to electrify Riverside Dairy. It became the first location to receive electricity from NEMPA. Dr. C.S. Wilkins pulled the switch that officially ran electricity to Riverside Dairy for the first time.
From then on, the 20th century saw many different dairy farms in operation in Union County. Mr. Floyd Clayton began his long career in dairy farming in 1946. By 57, he was selling his milk supply to New Albany Dairy Products. The New Albany Dairy Products plant purchased grade A milk from farmers, then pasteurized, bottled, and sold it to customers via delivery. An important fact to know is that grade A milk is considered to be sanitary enough for consumption in fluid form. The Miller family owned and operated a dairy farm in Union County. Some people use cows for other reasons besides their milk as well. Mr. R.C. White owned many dairy cows, and he used their manure to spread across the soil, and the soil was excellent for cotton farming. Many others own dairy farms in Union County, but these are just a few examples that show the immense influence of dairy across Union County. During Dairy Month, the New Albany Gazette included many articles that provided information on dairy and the encouragement to consume dairy. From the Bank of New Albany to the United Funeral Service, many institutions left thank you notes to local dairy farmers. Now, slowly but surely, whether due to government policies or to the prevalence of large-scale dairy farms, the number of local dairy farms slowly decreased in the latter half of the previous century.
One of the last family-owned dairy farms in the region was the Graham Dairy Farm. In 1998, an article was written in the New Albany Gazette regarding the family and their farm. One thing that the article focuses on is the familial love that the dairy farm contained. The article states, "The work at Graham's barn is done solely by Graham family members. The Graham dairy and farming business is a family affair. Everybody does something to keep everything going."
And the article leaves the reader with a kind of somber feeling that reminds the reader of a time when people worked together in the community to produce food and drink for everyone's benefit. People, especially older members of the community, can recall this time with familiarity. It can be felt in the aforementioned interviews. The importance of dairy locally is a lineage, a beautiful lineage of hardworking people, people who love their community. Welcome to my car. I wanted to switch up the vibe a little bit and kind of zoom out from Union County and give y'all a story about the relationship between dairy and the U.S. government. And this story that I want to tell you guys started in 1970. During the 1970s, the U.S. was going through a national dairy shortage. So to fix the situation, the president at the time, Jimmy Carter, decided to throw $2 billion at dairy farmers in hopes that they would produce more dairy. And they did that with their newly acquired funds. They began overproducing dairy. Now, the overproduction of dairy became a problem. So the U.S. government decided to buy up all of the surplus dairy that dairy farmers were producing at the time. And quickly, the U.S. government realized that dairy goes bad, surprise, dairy goes bad. So they decided to make the milk into cheese and store the cheese in facilities all across the country. By the way, we're not talking about a minute amount of cheese here. This is a lot of cheese, 500 million pounds of cheese that the U.S. government was storing in facilities across the U.S. So in response, Ronald Reagan was president at the time. He tried to fix the problem a little bit. He began to take the cheese and put it into government welfare. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of government cheese. That's where government cheese comes from. That Ronald Reagan tried to fix the problem by putting cheese into welfare. This did not fix the problem in its entirety. The U.S. continued to buy surplus dairy. And that did not fix the problem at all. So to kind of fix the problem even more, the problem they created, they went even further. They tried to think of a new plan, the U.S. government. And their new plan was a sort of brainwashing of the American people. So despite the health risks of eating cheese and dairy and overabundance, they began to promote dairy in fast food restaurants and things such as that. You've heard of Got Milk. That's government propaganda to get you to buy more milk, more dairy. You go to a local fast food restaurant, you see that all of these items have cheese in them, an overabundance of cheese. This is because a lot of fast food restaurants sign contracts with the U.S. government to use more cheese in their food. The U.S. government even bailed out a particular fast food restaurant during a recession in 2010. Now, all of these things are done to promote the consumption of dairy and cheese. Now, this is a free country, and people, if they want to eat their weight in cheese, they can. But shouldn't the U.S. government have its people's health at the top of its priority list? So I thought this was kind of a cool story to include in this video. Now, thank you guys for watching this. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I hope you all have a great day.